Imagine a land where being Christian could get you beaten, jailed, or even killed, and yet that same land would one day become home to some of the largest churches in the world. Korea was not always known for Christianity. For most of its history, it followed old traditions, ancestor worship, and Confucian teaching. So, when and how did Korea really turn Christian? The answer is more surprising than most people think. And by the end of this story, you will see how a small, risky movement slowly grew into a powerful force that changed an entire nation. Christianity did not first arrive in Korea through famous foreign missionaries. In fact, it started in a very quiet and strange way. In the late 1700s, Korean scholars traveled to China. While they were there, they found books about Jesus and the Christian faith written by Catholic missionaries. These Korean scholars became deeply curious. They studied these books on their own, without any priest to guide them. Step by step, they began to believe. One of them was later baptized in Beijing and returned to Korea, bringing the new faith back home. This means something very rare happened in history. A church began without missionaries. Ordinary Korean people started meeting in secret, reading books, praying, and even baptizing each other because no foreign priest was allowed to enter the country. But this new faith quickly caused trouble. Korean society was built on strong family rituals and ancestor ceremonies. Christians refused to take part in some of these rituals because they believed worship should be given only to God. The government saw this as a threat to social order. Soon, harsh persecution began. Many early Korean Christians were arrested and executed. Families were torn apart. Some believers were forced to hide their faith, meeting at night or deep in the mountains. It would have been easy for this small movement to die out, but instead it grew stronger. The courage of these early believers touched others. Stories of their faith spread from village to village. In the 1800s, foreign missionaries finally began to enter Korea, even though it was still very dangerous. Some came secretly, knowing they could be killed. Many of them were, but they brought with them Bibles, medical help, and schools. They learned the Korean language and respected the people. Slowly, more Koreans accepted Christianity, not just as a foreign idea, but as a personal hope. Then came a huge turning point. In the early 1900s, Korea fell under Japanese rule. Life became very hard. Many Koreans lost their freedom, their voice, and their pride. During this dark time, Christian churches became places of comfort and unity. Churches opened schools and hospitals. They taught reading and writing to common people. Some Christian leaders also spoke out for Korean independence. Because of this, many people began to see Christianity not as a threat, but as a source of strength and dignity. After World War II, Korea was divided into North and South. In the North, religion was crushed. Churches were destroyed, and believers had to flee or hide. But in the South, Christianity was free to grow. And grow it did. After the Korean War, the country was in ruins. People were poor and broken. Churches stepped in to help rebuild lives. They fed the hungry, cared for orphans, and gave people hope for the future. In the 1960s, 70s, and 80s, South Korea changed very fast. Cities grew, factories opened, and millions moved from villages into crowded urban areas. In the middle of this fast and stressful life, many people searched for meaning and support. Churches welcomed them. Large prayer meetings, early morning services, and strong community life attracted huge numbers. Some churches became so big that tens of thousands gathered every week. By the late 20th century, South Korea had become one of the most Christian countries in Asia. Seoul alone was home to some of the largest churches on earth. Korean missionaries were sent all over the world. What began as a tiny secret study group with a few books had turned into a global mission movement. So when did Korea really turn Christian? There was no single day. It was a long journey. It began quietly in the late 1700s with curious scholars. It survived brutal persecution in the 1800s. It found new life during foreign rule and national struggle in the early 1900s. And it exploded in growth after war and hardship in the second half of the 20th century. The real turning point was not just about numbers. It was about trust. Time after time, when Korea faced fear, loss, and change, many people found hope inside the Christian message. That steady hope, carried through suffering and sacrifice, slowly changed the heart of a nation. Today, you can still see signs of that journey everywhere in South Korea, from small neighborhood chapels to giant city churches filled with singing voices. But behind all of that size and sound is a simple story of people who first read about Jesus in a foreign book, believed with all their hearts, and refused to let that faith die even when it cost them everything.